Under the lights of Los Angeles shining into the sky, Olivia, a young musician, would stay at home alone for one night due to a concert tour of her family. But tonight, the house would be filled with a mysterious piano inside and a dark presence that came with it. The first night, Olivia heard a piano playing in the silence. However, he found it difficult to understand the source of this sound because he knew that he was alone in the house. In his dream, an old piano appeared in the middle of his room along with a shadowy figure. The figure indicated that he needed her help by telling her the story of the piano. On the second night, Olivia, in her dream, opened at a window into the past of the old piano. The piano once played fascinating melodies in the hands of a talented musician, but fell into silence after a tragic event. The shadowy figure asked Olivia for help to start playing the piano again. On the third night, Olivia decided to restore the old piano, but at this time, strange events occurred at home. Things moved by themselves. Doors were mysteriously opening and closing. Olivia had to face this mysterious energy hovering around the shadowy figure. On the fourth night, Olivia made a trip to the piano's past in her dream. He faced the sadness behind the melodies and the tragedy experienced by the owner of the piano. The shadowy figure asked him to help revive the piano by illuminating this sad past. On the fifth night, Olivia made an effort to restore the piano and began to revive old melodies. But at this time, the shadowy presence became more prominent. His energy, combined with the power of the music played by the piano, circulated through the house. On the sixth night, Olivia combined the story of the shadowy being with the music played by the piano. With the power of the melodies, the being began to forgive past injustices and sufferings and find peace. On the seventh night, when the family returned, the atmosphere in the house had completely changed. The piano was no longer just playing beautiful melodies, but also became a source of light that illuminated the shadows inside the house. Olivia's courage and the power of music had transformed her home into a place of peace and healing. Away from the city hustle and bustle of New York, Michael, a young journalist, was going to stay alone for one night because his family was going on a short trip. Tonight, however, was to be filled with strange happenings coming from a passage opened by a mysterious door inside the house. On the first night, Michael tried to relax by feeling the silence. However, in his dream, he stood in front of an antique door located in an old room of the house. The door offered him the opportunity to decipher a journey between the past and the future. Michael, accepting this offer, crossed the threshold of the door. On the second night, Mikhail witnessed a series of strange events in his dream, a memory from the past, an event that will take place in the future, and the tragic story of an ancient family. The door seemed to have given Mikhail the ability to wander through the depths of time. On the third night, Mikhail decided to trace the past. He examined the old documents of the house, family albums, and archives. The door provided him with a historical moment and the opportunity to explore a forgotten legacy of the family. On the fourth night, Michael saw in his dream the former inhabitants of the house. By communicating with them, he learned about the secrets of the past and the dangers of the future. The door gave Michael the strength to confront the family's dark past and change the future. On the fifth night, Michael made another trip deep into time with the help of the door. He took the opportunity to correct the injustices of the past and to enlighten the future. The door gave Michael a chance to make a decision that would change the fate of the family. On the sixth night, Michael turned the house into a place of peace, erasing the traces of the past. The family's forgotten heritage had been rediscovered, and past injustices had been repaired. The house had now become the junction point of the past and the future. On the seventh night, when his parents returned, Michael had an expression of peace on his face. The atmosphere of the city had been transformed by the story of the mysterious door inside the house. Michael's courage and the guidance of the door had made the house not only a place, but also a decoupling point between the gates of time. On the cold nights of Chicago, James, a young writer, was excited to be on his own due to the fact that his family was not at home for one night. But tonight, the house would be filled with a quiet presence that came with an old book inside. On the first night, when James felt the silence, he found a mysterious message inside an old book. In her dream, the shadowy figure who came with the book guided her to explain the secrets of a passage inside the house. This passage, however, was guarded by a silent presence. On the second night, James teleported into an old room of the house in a dream. There were ghost tracks in the room from the past. The shadowy figure explained that the passage inside the house was opened after a tragedy that once happened and was guarded by a being who still bears the effects of that tragedy. On the third night, James began to investigate the history of the house. He examined old documents, family albums, and rummaged through city archives. The shadowy figure guided James to reveal past injustices and the story of the lost ghost. On the fourth night, James discovered an old diary in his dream. The diary described how the peace that the house once had was marred by a quiet presence after a tragedy. The shadowy figure indicated that this silent presence was the guardian of the passage inside the house. On the fifth night, James stepped in to expose the injustices in the house's past. When he faced the silent being, he learned about his sad past and tragic fate. The shadowy figure said that this being needed James's help to get peace. On the sixth night, James made a deal with the entity to close the passage inside the house. This agreement was based on correcting the injustices of the past and helping to restore peace to a quiet existence. On the seventh night, when the family returned, the atmosphere in the house had completely changed. James's courage and determination to face his past had transformed the house into a place of peace and healing. The shadowy figure and the silent presence were now guardian spirits that brought only peace and quiet inside the house.